The best way to get peace, not war, is to convince North Korea that they're going to be in a war and they will lose it if they don't pursue peace. Everything else before has failed. Nobody in North Korea believed that the past presidents would use military force. If they don't believe Donald Trump will use military force as the last resort, the people in North Korea are making a very big mistake, because he will if he has to. He doesn't want to.
Less than 5 hours stand between the historic meeting between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un. So what is at stake when the two leaders finally meet? Joining me now is Oklahoma Senator Jim Inhofe. He's a member of the Armed Services Committee. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Are you
nice to be with you.
Are you all hearing anything different than what you're seeing in the media about how this meeting is going so far? I mean, I understand the formal part of it hasn't begun yet, but in terms of the planning and the reception and that sort of thing, what are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing something different than you hear on the news. You know, I'm so convinced that good things are going to happen. It may not be the first meeting, but let's stop and realize what Trump has done. He's got this guy's attention. No one else has ever gotten it before. We had a meeting where we had our intelligence people in, the director of national intelligence, the military intelligence. They said this isn't going to work, and everyone's so negative on this thing. I believe it will. I happen to be in South Korea when Kim Jong Un said, "I've got a button, I can press it, I can blow up an American city." And when his response, our president's response, just laid it out and said, "Oh, you try that, we'll blow you off the face of this earth." And he understands that we have a president who does things. Look, remember the Syria problem that we had back during the previous administration? He said, you cross the red line and something's going to happen. It didn't happen. With this guy, it happens. Kim Jong Un knows that.
So you were in South Korea when he made that response? Because that's one of the things that critics point to, saying that he's erratic. At one point, he said he's going to, you know, and saying that it wasn't the rhetoric that got us here, it was the sanctions. But you are saying something very different.
I do, because one of the things he did, if you remember, Kim Jong Un, a matter of hours after our president made the statement, he called down to South Korea and said, "I've changed my mind. We're going to send our athletes down there to participate in the Olympics." And then he made the gesture of getting together with them. Look at the things he's done. He's released 3 Americans. He's destroyed one of the nuclear test sites. And they've had the joint exercises. Remember, Kim Jong Un used to always complain about the joint exercises. Well, they're doing them. So I'm expecting big things. And as I told our intelligence in an open meeting, I said, I think you're wrong and I'm right. I'm expecting big things to happen. This President Trump, I think he's playing Un like a fiddle.
So what would constitute big things in your mind? I mean, what would we hear tomorrow, for example, when it ends?
I think verify a conversation, not a done deal, but a conversation on verifiable denuclearization, and also an understanding that we're going to leave troops there, even if a deal is reached. Now, obviously, that's something that has to happen, because the troops would not be there for North Korea. They'd be there for more China than anything else.
One of the things General Jack Keane said earlier today, that one of the reasons why he believes the same that you do is that Kim Jong Un has been on a diplomatic blitz, you know, like you haven't seen him before, that he's really changed his behavior in terms of being out and around and trying to talk to people and be visible. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like you've seen that?
Oh, I do. Yeah, first of all, I didn't know he already said that, and I normally do agree with him. I feel strongly about that because, again, the reaction that he was getting just minutes after that conversation was one where all of a sudden, I mean, Kim Jong Un is a bully, and he understands a bully when he's talking to one, and a bully who has demonstrated clearly that if he says something, as our president has done, if he says it, he's going to do it. And I think that was the turning point at that time. I think that's why we're going to get a good result. It may not be immediate, but look, they're talking. You know, that's exciting.
Senator, thank you. We appreciate your time today and hope you're right. Thank you.